Hello, everyone. So we're going to talk about our workflow that we use to deliver quick data views to the newsroom. This is Jaime and myself. We work at RTVE, like Elliot said, which is a Spanish public broadcaster. And more specifically, we work at DatosRTVE, which is the data journalism unit, but it's also a visualization desk. We produce our own pieces with a focus on visual information for the digital newsroom. In this sense, DatawRapper has become a core part of our job and has allowed our graphic production to multiply. So we come to have a really wide range of graphic production, many of them that we create regularly. But even though DatawRapper is super straightforward and allow us to create graphics quite quick, we still need time to produce them. And sometimes we need to do that even more quickly. So there are many times when the newsroom needs graphics almost instantly. And we acknowledge that uncertainty is inherent to journalism and especially to breaking news. We can't know beforehand exactly which charts we're going to need the following day. But we do know that there is a news cycle and some issues are more or less predictable. That's the starting point of our workflow. So the first step is identifying that there is an opportunity, which is to be faster with the news that we somehow can be ready for. Think about periodic statistics like unemployment or recurring issues like earthquakes or weather alerts. That's the case that you're seeing now on screen. So we usually get the alert from the news desk and like, hey, there's some new information about global warming. Then the breaking news team will start working on a first draft piece. In this case, they probably even have some embargoed information. And in parallel, DatosRTVE will be working on the new data once it's available and create the graphic. That's a graphic that we've probably done before. So the news piece with the text and the photos will come out within a few minutes, but in many cases, it will be without the graphic that will be included afterwards. So we have identified the chance to be faster. The second step is how usually do we have this problem? Like, is this happening too many times? It's also something that is very important for RTVE, and we're going to consider investing the time and effort that we need to make this thing faster. So that's the second step, to decide if we are going to do that. Then once we know that we have room for improvement and we have decided that it makes sense for us to invest the effort, then it's time to prepare. And we do that by creating a folder. We have an organized system that we constantly check when new issues come. And we make sure that it's easy to find for every member on the team, because the person who makes the graphics for the first time might not be the person who updates it a month later. So we pay much attention, a lot of attention to that. Then we select the graphics, because sometimes we will need maybe 2 or 3 graphics for a topic, but other times it will be maybe 9 or even 10 graphics that we want to have ready for use. So once we decide on that, we make our analysis, we understand the coverage that we want to do, then we create the ad hoc templates. And that's a very important part, because that's what's allowed us to be fast, because we only have to duplicate the template when needed. And then after that, of course, we have to make sure that we have the communication channels ready. It's a very important part, because if not, we would be sometimes doing graphics and nobody would know that we have them. And we have to make sure that we are also doing the graphics that they want. Like we need to make sure we are following the interest of the newsroom. And it will depend on the case. In some cases, we are closely following the event, and we will know that the news is ready, the data is ready before the news desk. Other times we will get the notice from them and we will start working. It will depend on the case, but we have to make sure that we are connected and we know each part of the newsroom, the team know what we are doing. And then in some cases, we go one step further and we do automation with code. This is Jaime. We will continue from here.
Yeah, because using templates is an effective solution, but we detected it could be better if we worked on automation, as Paula said. It makes sense for the chart in our samples, since it's something we do it every month. Basically, our Excel process could be adapted to be recurring. And all we usually did within a spreadsheet now needs to be done with code in R, thanks to Tidyverse package and DatawRapper API. First of all, we download data. To do that, we just need the dataset CSV link. And once we have data, we need to clean and transform them to fit in DatawRapper's line chart data structure that, as you know, is very specific. So as you can see in the code, we just filter the time period we want to chart. Then we isolate a year from dates and create a month-day column that we call a plain date. And finally, we pivot data to have one column per year. So what we do is going from raw data to a clean data set that can work in DatawRapper. So the next step is bringing that clean data into our chart template that Paul explained before. And it is really easy thanks to Manic Rocker's DatawRapper package for R that I'm sure you have heard about before. We just need 4 functions to modify our plot through the API and to have it online. Let's go to them. First of all, we copy our template. It's called copy, the function, so it's really easy to identify, and we only need the chart ID, so it's really simple. Then we pass the clean data to the new chart that contains all the customizations we did in our template, so we don't have to edit it after uploading the data. In the third step, we change title and annotations. With this function, you can modify many other things, but for our chart, that's enough. And finally, we publish and recover the embed code that appears directly in our console. So you just copy and send it to the team. To sum up, once it's done, the process is very straightforward, and you can do it again and again. You open RStudio, you connect with data source directly, run your ready-to-go script to create the chart using your template, save it, and publish it. With this workflow, we not only can sync our timing with the breaking news team, but also we are even faster than them sometimes. And this way, RTVE can publish last-minute information already with high-quality charts. But we can publish multiple charts in minutes now, but our work doesn't end here. We always reevaluate and keep improving the process. For instance, we ask the breaking news team if the charts are still interesting for them or if they have identified any new needs. We regularly send reminders of all charts we can create to the newsroom because they forget they have charts to use, and it's really helpful for them to have a refresh on that. And we try to include everything we learn to improve our process. And I know it's something we'll definitely do after this instructive conference. I'm sure for that, that we are learning a lot and that we are using it. And that's pretty broadly how we work. So thank you very much for your time. And now it's time for questions and answers, I think.
Thanks so much for that. Really interesting stuff. My first question for you is, you mentioned having a kind of big kind of database, big folders full of charts. How do you organize those, and how do you enforce organization of those?
We have a lot of conversations, and we keep reminded that we are doing this job and that this look how great it turns out when we can go with this piece and not only like a couple of paragraphs and then there will be an ampliation, but you go with a few graphics at the beginning. So like maybe enforce, it's a strong word. So we try to convince.
We talk a lot about how to organize our folder system. And it is something that we use a lot of time on that, and it's not closed. It's changing, as Paula said in the presentation. It depends on the news and on what's happening, because sometimes topics change for one area to the other, and it's a live system.
Cool. All right, we've got some questions from comments. Let's see. Laura asks, how long does it take to make all those templates?
We don't do them all at once. We we keep improving, like we said, our system. So we started with some very common, like very obvious choices, like unemployment or some other statistics that we get regularly, like even monthly. So we would start with that, and we would create first the template. Then we would go like, okay, this maybe makes sense to have in code, and then we would go to that step further. And when I would say we keep growing on this when we have the time. Like we know it will save time eventually, but we don't always have the time to invest on making these all steps, like preparing for that. So when we suddenly like, oh hey, there's some time here, maybe you can prepare this for the next time, which will be, I don't know, in 3 months, and then we do that. Like we have done that in the like in second screen somehow. So we it is not like a priority per se, because we already have the basis, but we keep working on it, and that's how we've been doing it. Like we started with the most important and the most obvious choices, and then like step by step we keep doing.
Yes, as Paula said in the presentation, normally we detect the need after doing the first chart. So when you have done it once, you just need to adjust that chart to be really polished, and then you use it. So it's something that it's growing with our work. Really, it's not a task that we have scheduled.
I have another question here from Andre. How do you deal with units and date formats that us Hispanic speakers use?
Uh,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's a headache normally. Yes, our studio is really helpful for that, because you can change the codification system really quite easily. So when you read data, you can just identify with Unicode, or which for example, in Spain we use UTF-8. So if you identify that it isn't in that codification, you just write that in your code, and it changes the data. So it's pretty like that.
Great. I have a question here from Yannicka next. How large is your data team, and how's the team split up by roles?
We are a quite big data team. We have 8 members, and we maybe not by roles. We are all journalists, and we are all growing in our data abilities. So somehow we are divided more like areas. Like one of us more specific into economics topics, other into more social issues or national, like politics. So it will usually go like that. Like after some time, we've had that like our beat somehow in the data team, and then we have one person who is more technical, and he's more in charge of like maps and some more coding parts. But we are, I'm very like proud to say that we're all learning basic coding to more advanced coding. It will depend, but we are growing, making up our coding level, and we starting to use all of us more advanced tools to deal with the data. So I don't know. I would say it was kind of interchangeable in many tasks.
Very interesting. Okay. I think that's all the time we have for Q&A. But thank you so much both for being here and for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.